Hi everyone. Yeah, welcome back. Good to see you again. You're looking well. Get yourself a drink and a seat, and we're going to get started. Because yes, there is a show. It's all been happening, and now you want to know. But before we can start, we must begin with hello. My name is Sean, your host and fellow. Now grab hold your beverage. Your mind just as quick. We're building up for our best sip. So join me now for the greatest pleasure, where we unwind this world together. It's time now. It's time for the sip. Let's do it now. Let's do it quick. Go. Ah, yes. Exactly what I wanted. So, what do you do if you are tired of the politicians in your neighborhood? Well, one enterprising town in Laitas in Texas solved this in the most unusual way possible. They elected a beer-drinking goat as mayor. Meet Mayor Clay Henry, who lived in the local salon and became famous for drinking beer. Locals decided to elevate the goat to new heights by making him a mayor. When Henry Clay died, they elected another goat, Clay Henry II, and then another, Clay Henry III. So a mini goat dynasty was born. The role is largely seen as ceremonial in the small town. The winner was determined by who could raise the most money, and the goat consistently beat out the human politicians. And there I thought they were only kidding. Meanwhile, in the UK, the UK security is in peril, and Sir Keir Starmer's government has shown corrosive complacency towards defence, a former NATO Secretary-General has said. Lord George Robertson, the ex-Labour Defence Secretary, who wrote the government's Strategic Defence Review, accused non-military experts in the Treasury of vandalism in a speech on Tuesday. The SDR was delivered in June last year, but the 10-year investment plan to fund it has been repeatedly delayed, and Lord Robertson earlier told the Financial Times external the Prime Minister was not willing to make the necessary investment. So while I think Keir Starmer has been a pretty poor PM, this issue did not really start with him. I was watching Asmongold's reaction video where he was looking at the Navy and how far it's declined. The UK's only got a handful of ships nowadays, many of which are not actually working. Quite a number of them are in for repairs and servicing, and some have not been working for years. There's also more ship captains than there are ships available. The last time a fleet was this small was back when sailing was first invented in the 1600s. I don't mean that as a joke. I mean, literally there's 10, maybe 15 ships that they could dispatch at the moment. And at its peak in the 1940s, that was over 1,000 ships. And 1,000 to 10 in 80 years is literally 1% of what it was at the peak. So people are calling this managed decline, and it definitely seems to be the case. Why would you deliberately leave yourself vulnerable like this, though? Have they become a bit complacent, or is there something else going on? And people say follow the money, and if you look at the spending in the 1970s, that was just under £7 billion, and there were still over 200 ships in the fleet. And then you fast forward today, and it's now over 70 billion. So they're spending 10 times more to have 10 times a smaller fleet. So does that make them 100 times more vulnerable? It's not like the ships are even 10 times better. Many of the ships are really old now and well behind modern standards. So something just doesn't seem right here. It smells like some greedy people have decided that there's money to be made here, and that's at the expense of the UK's safety. It may prove to be the biggest downfall in the end. Meanwhile, in science news, the Artemis II crew has returned safely back to Earth. Took off a little over, it was 15 days ago, on the 1st of April, and then circled around the moon and headed back to Earth. The ultimate goal is for humans to land on the moon again, but it's just like in the Apollo days, NASA is just taking it step by step. So Artemis 1 tested the unmanned rocket to see if the rocket could get up and return from space safely. And Artemis 2 now is testing that a crew can safely get up there and also now additionally navigate around the moon. The next mission is likely to be one that actually lands on the moon, but we'll wait and see. There's no real announcements yet on that. So built on top of the SLS rocket platform, which has been in development for a number of years, and the Orion spacecraft, which has also been the astronauts' home for the last sort of 11, 12 days. That is also a brand new piece of kit. They performed a number of test flights, image captures, and system validation along the way in anticipation for the landing. But yeah, they're not actually doing the landing this time. But it does still mark a number of firsts. The first crewed flight of the Orion spacecraft, first crewed flight of the SLS, and first time testing new life support systems, testing manual piloting in deep space, testing new deep space communication systems, and the first crewed test of a crewed high-speed lunar return re-entry. So the rocket blasted off in Cape Canaveral on the 1st of April, and the launch went pretty flawlessly, and we were seeing regular updates all along the way. It took about 4 days to reach the moon, and once there it circled, and we saw some incredible photos of the Earth and the moon, just side by side, or just the Earth just behind the moon. And another 4 short days later, and Orion was splashing down safely with all the crew safe and well inside. So all went remarkably well. And this is the kind of science I think we should be spending more money on. These are the kind of missions that will really help us move off of Earth and just help develop technology in general. I think there needs to be like a 10x increase in this kind of funding, because science is going to be the biggest differentiator in the future. Next to raw military power, scientific capability is a close second in determining who the ultimate victor is going to be. So, yeah, we'll have to see what is to come with the next mission. Is Trump really Jesus? Well, there's been a lot of controversy over Trump posting a meme of himself. The meme showed him healing a man, and it looks like quite an angelic post. It's obviously just AI generated, but it has not stopped the internet from responding with all kinds of copies. And his critics are jumping on it, saying that he's comparing himself to the Messiah. It's to be expected, really. The opposition's not really going to say, "Oh, good job," and it's not going to happen. The opponents are going to jump on every opportunity to present you in a negative way, and the supporters will look at you another way. It's like almost anything Trump does, it gets turned into a political football. This is one of those things that becomes what Scott Adams used to call like two movies on one screen. See, when there's something happening, you can look at it from two different perspectives. It's kind of like the glass half empty or the glass half full thing. And it will depend on your emotional attachment to the people involved, which way that will go. So if you like Trump, you'll probably see this as a funny, harmless post. But if you're against him, you'll see that is Jesus. How can one man be both Hitler and Jesus at the same time? I'm not really sure, but it's just another label to try and slap on someone. The joke really is that Trump has done a lot, so much so that he's now become somebody else. I know you're not supposed to explain jokes, but this I didn't tell this one, so it's okay. The other part of this is the openness to humour. The right-hand side of the aisle tends to be a little bit more comfortable with humour. If something is funny, then it'll just be funny. The left has a little bit more of a reputation for being slightly more emotionally, tightened up and engaged. Sometimes not being able to laugh at themselves, and that just causes all sorts of problems, doesn't it? If you're able to laugh at these things, then chances are much higher. Then you're not going to be offended or triggered by it. For me, it's much better emotional position to be in. And humor and taking offence is got sort of two sides of the same coin. One side will make you feel happy, and the other side will make you feel bad. So this also comes as he's recently criticised the Pope for calling him weak, and this in itself does not endear yourself to millions of Catholics around the world. And Giorgia Meloni came out and criticised him as well. With it being so close to Easter is also not particularly great timing. It's, especially that it's the most holy time of the year for Catholics. So it's just one of those things, I think. It does look like Trump has taken down the tweet, so I'm sure the controversy will continue, but we'll have to see what takes its place. In fact, since then, the DoorDash memes have sort of taken over. And my favourite one of those is the famous painting of this, the Last Supper. And it's been updated with Trump with a DoorDash driver. It's really genius. I love it when someone nails a good meme. So do I think it was badly timed? Yes. Do I think Trump is Hitler? No. Do I think he's the Pope? No. Do I think he's Jesus? Maybe, but not this time. Specifically because I think he's not Jesus, because Jesus turned water into wine and Trump is a teetotaler. So that brings me to the end of my notes. So I'd just like to say one final thing, which is to take care of yourself, because it will help you take care of others so much better. Have a reason to get out of bed, make your bed, give yourself something to work for. Others will help you in that journey. And with that, I will say thank you very much and see you later. Cheers.